Hey, welcome back to the Backyard Professor Chess videos. I am the Backyard Professor. Imagine that. The Bobby Fischer game I have to show you today is really huge. Gigantic. No, I mean really. Here's why. This game was dubbed the game of the century by Hans Kmoch. He annotated it in the December 1956 issue of Chess Review, and if the rest of the world had previously not known of the young American prodigy, that had now changed forever. This is Bobby Fischer versus Donald Byrne. Byrne is playing the white pieces. Hey, and I have white pieces for my colorblind friends. Yeah, baby. Don't ever let it be said the Backyard Professor does not try to accommodate his loving and wonderful viewers. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to like this even better anyway. Red pieces as white. Who ever heard of something like that? I should have done this years ago. Let's go on with it. Knight f3 he starts off, and Fischer goes knight f6. And Byrne pushes c4, and Fischer's going to fianchetto his bishop. This is the Grunfeld defense, just for those of you who are aware of it. Knight c3, bishop g7, he's going to fianchetto. And now d4. So, building for the center, of course. Fischer's going to castle and get this over with right now because he wants to fight. Yeah, baby. He wants to fight. Can you imagine that? Oh, hey. And then Bert, let me do something real quick. I want to remind you of who we're watching play chess. That young man. Now look how young he is. That's who's playing Donald Byrne. He does know how to chew bubble gum, and he might know how to ride a bicycle. But we are talking a youth who possibly knows how to play a yo-yo, play with a yo-yo, but he definitely knows how to play this game of chess. So keep that in mind while he's playing a very adult Donald Byrne. Just saying. d5, Fischer hits the center. Any surprise? No, not from these quarters. Queen b3, now Byrne, now look at this. Byrne has a really strong development, doesn't he? Truly, compared to Fischer at this point. And now Fischer takes a pawn. D takes c4. So a pawn has gone to pawn heaven. And then queen takes that pawn. So another pawn goes to the other pawn heaven. Right? c6. Now, look at this development. Byrne has absolute dominant four-piece power control of the center. And Fischer has just barely got out of the blocks. Just a quick observation. I'm just showing you. Yeah? e4, and Byrne is not kidding. He wants to own Bobby. Yeah. And at this stage, were you to see this position as such immediately first and asked, whose side would you like to play? Well, I would like to play the pink side, of course. I mean, white just looks like he is powerful, doesn't he? Fischer brings up his knight, rook to d1. He's even going to take a central file with a rook. And now Bobby plays knight b6. Moving the knight twice. Understand that. Yes. Queen c5 coming up. Bobby brings out a bishop, putting a good pin on the knight against the rook. That Byrne took as the file, yes. And now Byrne does a dubious move, bishop g5. And Bobby plays almost the most electrifying move of the game, knight a4. And this got two, count 'em, two, one, two exclamation points. Why? Why? It's not that big of a move. All you do is take the knight. Problem solved. Well, if he would have done that, notice the function of Byrne's knight was supporting the central pawn of E. By taking it, had he done so, Bobby would have done that, hitting a great target of the queen, and the queen to c1. Then the queen comes up here to a5 check, developing with tempo, but the knight could bump down to c3 and block the check, and now bishop could take f3, threatening the rook, so that g is virtually forced to take f3, and now knight could take g5. And that's why the knight cannot be taken by the other knight. Let me back up to the position we were at, and I'll get back onto the game. I just wanted to show that variation because Mueller in the tournament record made a big whoop-de-doo about this, unrightly so. The young Bobby Fischer is thinking very maturely. So back to the move where Bobby moved knight a4. The queen came to a3 to dodge out of the way of the knight because the knight had found its target, and then it found its other target, c3. Knight takes c3. And now Byrne has to start thinking through things because Bobby's getting cranked up here. Here we go. Now, a strong pawn center for Byrne. There's no question about it. Good development now for both of them. You notice development is an imbalance, but it is an imbalance that will be rectified through time. If you're ahead in development, then figure out a way to make it count, because eventually the other person will get developed along with you. Understand that's not a permanent imbalance, right? And now Bobby Fischer delivers the knight takes e4 move. And that got an exclamation point, and the comment is just blow after blow. Bobby is just pounding Byrne right now. Very interesting. Bishop takes e7, a very beautiful bishop fork. Bobby simply laughs it off. Queen b6. He's not concerned about the fork at all, and apparently Byrne really has a plan here where he comes to bishop c4, and now he's got double bishops pointing at Bobby's king side, with a knight here potentially coming in, with backed up by a queen against the rook. So Byrne's position is not bad. He's actually really given it a fight here. And then knight takes c3. Holy cow! Another exclamation point. And the comment is, Fischer's knights are just relentless here. Absolutely amazing. And bishop comes to c5, and there's a question mark. And you go, wait a minute. He gets a target on the queen. There's still a question mark because now Bobby grabs the e-file with the rook. With tempo, check to the king. And the king shouldn't and can't come out. So he's got because of the bishop coming up to check him, and then he's in deep trouble. With the queen here, yeah, the king has to go that way. So now the king is pinned inside and he cannot castle, and Bobby has this fabulous open file. Yes, Byrne has had the partial file. Bobby has a much greater position here. And you go, well, he's not too concerned about his queen. Oh, heavens no. Position takes priority over material in this particular game. One of the things that showed Bobby had already achieved a level in chess that very, very few of the rest of us get to. I would love to get to this level even when he was 13, right? I mean, that's fantastic. And now the point of the combination, was to get the bishop to e6. Now Bobby rock and rolls. Now Bobby has the winning position. And you go, I don't know, it doesn't look like it. No, it doesn't. Hang on and we'll show you. And this also got 2, count them, 2, 1, 2 exclamation points. Yeah, it's in Muller's tournament book. You can look it up if you think I'm kidding. I am so not kidding. And then he takes the queen, thinking he's going to get ahead. Here's the interesting aspect of this game that is fundamentally true. Byrne does get material ahead, doesn't matter. Position trumps material, at least in this game. And this is 13-year-old Bobby. I know I make a big deal about that. Watch what he does. This is so electrifying. It's just incredible. Bishop takes c4, check. The first of a most significant concept. King g1, what's the problem? Nothing. Knight e2, check. Observe they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Right. Observe the pure beauty of Fischer's coordination of a rook, a knight, and a bishop, and a bishop. You have never seen anything so beautiful. Well, you might have, but this is right up there. Watch what happens now. King f1. Knight takes d4, discovered check by the bishop. King g1. Knight e2, check by the knight. King f1. Knight c3, check. Just enjoy this. This is one of the most significant coordinations we have ever seen, and now Bobby goes up a piece and hits the queen with a discovered attack. Yeah? So Bobby is up a piece here, and let's see what happens. Queen to b4, hitting the knight and the bishop. He's going to get one of them. So he was up a piece for just a very short time until Bobby made his next move. Rook a4. Target. So queen takes b6. And knight takes d1. Bobby is now up 2 pieces. Yeah, this is getting brutal, isn't it? You ain't seen nothing yet. Keep watching. Rook takes a2, taking control of the 7th rank with the knight and the bishop and the bishop and the other rook controlling here. the rook controlling here. This is one of the most magnificent conceptual accomplishments I have ever seen in a game of chess. No wonder Coach called it the game of the century. Let's watch how Bobby plays this. This is fabulous. King H2. See, what's the big deal? You're ranting and raving and the king escaped. Yeah. Watch. Bobby just keeps taking everything in view. His rook takes a pawn, his knight takes a pawn, he's forking a rook. I mean, wow. Byrne cannot get a break. He puts the rook to E1, and now Bobby takes out. I mean, for the last 5 or 6 moves, Bobby has taken something, and Byrne can't seem to take anything. Bobby is just wiping them off the board. Queen D8 check. Bishop will block to F8, which gives him a great diagonal, meaning great diagonal because he's got a diagonal toward the king, eventually, if he gets out of the pin, yes? Okay, so he loses his rook on the E file. Drat! It's okay, his twin brother over here is doing just fine. And now, bishop to D5. And knight comes back to F3, and Bobby brings his knight to central location, E4, very interesting. Queen comes to B8, he's going to try to start taking pawns. He's got to do something, but you don't need to let him. Bobby just simply pushes the B pawn, of course. Drink lots of water. Good to do, good to do. So he comes H4 and Bobby shuts it down. H5. There is no reason to give him any counterplay whatsoever. You are winning. And you're winning big. Don't give him any counterplay. So Byrne attempts knight E5. Bobby will come to king G7. Byrne will go to G1. And now bishop C5 check. This ending is probably what caused Coach to call this the game of the century. Just observe what beauty in chess is, truly. Watch the coordination. The coordination of his pieces is like, yeah, I know. Shut up and show us the game! Okay, here we go. Bishop C5 check. King F1. Knight to G3 check. King E1. Bishop to B4 check. King to D1. Bishop to B3 check. King to C1. Knight to E2 check. King to B1. Knight to C3 check. King to C1. Rook to C2 mate. That is one of the most interesting king marches with beautiful clarity and coordination of all 4 pieces. He had given up his queen. He didn't need it. If we know how to coordinate rooks, bishops, and knights, this is the kind of games, this is the kind of power pieces can have when they're coordinated and cooperating together. Even against a queen, which truly just couldn't do anything because Bobby kept the initiative. He kept the pressure on Byrne. So this is a magnificent game that's worth watching several times. And there's your video for the weekend. I have lots to do. We are in the first, I don't know if it's going to be annual or semi-annual. It's probably going to take us 6 months to complete. We are in the first BYP chess tournament in our club. And we've got 21 players in this little baby, and we are absolutely rocking and rolling. Each one of us have to play all of the others as white and as the black pieces. So we've got 42 games going on. That's why I'm not accepting chess challenges right now. I want to focus on this chess tournament and get last place, because Boris Ospasky and Stries and several other people are saying they're going to take last place, and I think I'm going to. So forget first place. That has no clout. We're going for the bottom. Now we're having fun. I've won one and lost one. I got blown away by Ash, which is no surprise because he is so phenomenal, and I had a sweet upset, stunning victory against my good friend Dang Bell, who is better than me. He just made an unfortunate move with his king, and I was able to checkmate him in a really cool checkmate. So I'm 1-1 right now, so I'm doing good. But we're having fun, and I will tabulate results, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick, after we're all done and all the dust clears, we're going to pick best game and best blunder and best tactic and things like that. You know, we're going to have some fun with some awards, and we're going to have the Dirty Rat Award of the greatest swindle. A la Frank Marshall, you know, he was the great chess swindler, so we'll see what happens. So we're having a lot of fun. It's really good. The club is doing good. We got 322 members. Come on in and join us if you want. It's a lot of fun. You're not forced to play. You can just simply watch and learn from all these other fantastic chess players. That's mostly what I'm doing, although I am playing a lot too. So anyway, thanks for watching my video. Have fun, do good, be well, be kind. Work on losing your weight if that's what your desire is. I've lost 10 pounds. I'm not going down as fast as I need to be to get my goal, but I've lost 10 pounds, so what the heck. I'm happy. I'm feeling better. I'm looking good. My clothes are feeling better. Well, I mean, I feel good. I don't know if I'm looking good. But anyway, all right, you guys, I will see you in the next Backyard Professor Chess video with updates on how the tournament is going.